Hey everyone, it's time for Boss Talks. This is episode 22. It's wild every time I say it. Every week it's more, right? That's odd, but not odd. But I'm excited that it's episode 22. I have a great guest today. It's Steven Toro. He is with DoorLoop. Previously, he was in property management. Now he's in the Proptech sector of the multifamily industry, just like myself. He's also a marketing I forget his direct title. I'll let him finish that off, but he's in marketing for them, similar to me, doing prop tech and all the things. Their software is a property management software. It's a newer one, but he's really excited about all the things they're doing, and we'll learn a little bit about that. But other than that, before getting into property management, or actually, I guess, while he was actually a actor, model, and improv comic. So we'll dive into that a little bit too, because that's a fun thing. The other thing that I'm excited to dive into more is he has a personal passion for branding yourself, but really coining it as employee-prenuership, if I say that correctly. He'll correct it if it's wrong, but I think he came up with that because I've never heard that one before. But without any other introduction other than his own, we'll bring Steven to the show.
Hello,
Steven?
thank you. That was quite the intro. I appreciate it, Evan.
Yeah, no problem. So I would love for you to kick off kind of your journey into property management, how you got there, because I know you did start in the
Right.
comedy and acting out in LA, pursuing a dream probably.
Right.
So first of all, not everyone does that, right? So what was that like?
Right. So I started basically in Florida. I'm from Miami, born and raised. So I got into property management and real estate here before moving to LA. So I kind of had that as kind of like a background before I ever took the plunge, if you will, and moved across the country, as everybody does. And yeah, I got into LA. I did some acting here and there, some modeling, and then kind of just found myself back in property management because it just wasn't really my thing, the whole showbiz thing. I guess just in that regard, I knew I wanted to do something on camera, but maybe that wasn't the right thing for me. Anyway, found myself back in property management, managing high rises in downtown LA, doing leasing there as well prior to becoming a property manager. And then I eventually did student housing as well in the USC market. So that was super interesting.
Yeah. Yes. Student housing, something I'm more and more learning about, but it's its own animal in a lot of respects, and so much of its own challenges, I guess, that maybe people that aren't in that world, they don't really recognize or understand until they're in it.
Totally.
But as you were also doing acting, you were doing improv comedy, and
Right.
so I guess was that just like a thing where it helped with your acting, or like you truly like always just loved comedy? And
Right. I was more an improv comic, to be honest. I did acting as like a more of a way to like make some like extra money on the side, if you will. But
okay.
improv comedy, that's my baby. But yeah, I kind of did that while I was doing it. Was more like it was a hobby slash let's see where this goes kind of thing. But it's always something I love to do. And in a way, it kind of helps you always have something to say, even when you don't. You just always have something to come to that's just at least gonna vaguely make sense. So
Yeah,
in a way, it
yeah.
can help in property management, and especially just like thinking on your feet and um, having to be aware of multiple people at the same time and multiple aspects of a conversation that are,
Right.
just plates in the air spinning around. So, and just coming up with creative solutions too that, you have to come up with on a dime. So, really helps with
Sure.
that.
Right. So what was it like in doing the the comedy, like being in front of people and like having that pressure. I mean, there's having a one-on-one conversation and having to come
Right.
up with something, but then there's the I have an audience and
Right.
they're expecting to laugh.
Right. It's funny because like it's like you think you're a funny person until like you get up there with like professional people who are also doing this or are also like good at it or whatever. And it's like some things like if you're a person that's funny in conversation, you stay within the parameters of what you know you're good at.
Right.
If you're on stage, you're asked to do many different things. Some things you feel really stupid doing, and then it
Mm.
comes out anyway with a huge laugh from people. You're like, oh, I guess it wasn't that bad. So it definitely helps you develop a lot of confidence in looking stupid, if you will.
Sure. Well, I mean, that is something that I've had to, that is a fear with a lot of people. For instance, doing something like this, being on a live stream, like there is a hurdle of fear to get over for I think most people. Because you don't want to look stupid, right? It's like the end of the
Right.
day, I don't want to look like a moron.
Like jokes on you,
Fair.
I know immediately, so welcome to the show.
Yeah. But then once you get over that, you're like, I might look like a moron. Oh well.
Pretty much. Oh
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. And like as my kids would say, the tens of viewers that you're getting, Dad, they'll think you're a moron.
The shade. Yeah.
They totally throw me shade. They're just like,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever, Dad. Are you a YouTube star? Because they know what it means to be an online star. So
Yeah. Just tell them dad's on TikTok to love you.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And just throw in a little floss or something, little dance.
yeah.
You're in.
Yeah, if that's true. Yeah, maybe I need to get a more exciting in my content and they'll find me interesting. Well, that's really interesting about improv comedy. I mean, I've absolutely never done anything like that. I mean, I've given speeches in front of groups
Right.
and stuff, but that's prepared, first of all.
Yeah.
And
Right.
but even then there's nerves. So
Oh, absolutely. No, of course. Like if you're not nervous, then that's not a good thing.
right. But I guess at
Yeah,
the end of the day, when you're doing comedy and you mess up, that's still funny.
right.
So
Yeah. Well, it's still funny if people laugh. If like you mess up
sure.
and it's like not funny, you're like, oh, okay, cool. I'm just gonna like jump off the second floor balcony, so it's fine. Like
Right.
so
It's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Then you're just like, okay, I guess on to a different career. Fall
yeah,
back.
right.
Property
Exactly.
management.
Yeah, it's got my little sack tied to my pole around my shoulder. Yeah, just like that.
Yeah. So you stuck out in LA until, is it recently that you came back to
Yeah, fairly
Florida?
recently. I moved
Oh,
back to
okay.
Miami about 3 months ago. Yeah, 3 months ago in August, if I can count correctly. I was not a math major, but here we are. And yeah, 3 months ago. And yeah, I moved back to join DoorLoop as the job title is community experience manager. So basically, I
Okay.
do podcasts and YouTube videos and TikToks, create content, interview fun people and cool people in the prop tech, real estate investment realm, and kind of
Got
pick
it.
their brains. And we're just launching a podcast next year, 2023 as well. We got one episode in so far with our founder, David, well, one of the co-founders, David Baton, who's
Okay.
also my boss. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's great. So, are you like me? Do you have a multi-million-dollar studio?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so funny, Evan. I was supposed to be in the office today to do this, but like something came up, and now I'm here just in my home office on
Mhm.
my laptop, which is not the ideal setup, but you roll with it.
Yeah,
Yes, multi millions and millions, and my own soundstage and hair people.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I have the same quote unquote problem of just notoriety and money just
Yeah,
dumping into this.
right. I know. Like I can't leave my house without being asked for an autograph. It's mostly
Yeah.
people asking me to walk back inside, but same.
Yeah. No, but it is fun. I am, all jokes aside about that, as you do it more, And, you know, obviously if you're producing content people like, that
Right.
at the end of the day is what's important. If it's useful and helpful, that's the, you know, my goal is to make something that people actually want to participate in
Totally.
and be a part of and listen to. So when I get messages where people are like, no, I really enjoy it, it's like on the one hand, at first I was like, really? You know, like, you actually like this? Okay, cool. I will continue.
Right. I know
um,
I've gotten a couple messages like that, and I same reaction. I was like, really? Like, not that I think I'm like bad at it or anything like that. You're just
right,
like,
right,
you kind of wonder if people like actually listen to this, or whatever,
right.
or
No, it's always
stuff like
nice to know. It's always
yeah.
nice to
It's
know.
always
So if you
great to know.
enjoy this, people, again, we are not celebrities as much as we joke. But any feedback, positive, constructive, I'm always up for it. So in fact, I've done a lot of improvements to my own show because I asked for feedback, and people are like, hey, if you just do this, it's better. Hey, if you get a this or that, it'll make it better. And I'm like,
Oh
awesome.
yeah,
So
no,
a
for
lot
sure.
of the
Like,
things that I do now.
yeah. I mean, I'm not the look, I'll be the first to admit I'm not the techiest millennial. So the people I work with, they're all a little younger than me, which I feel very old saying. But like so they help me like set up cameras and lights. I'm like, oh, if you do it like this and this color lighting
Right.
and this kind of setting, I'm like, oh my God, yes, all of it to all of it.
Yeah,
So
that's true. Very true. Today, as I was saying, and I actually did a video leading up yesterday, um, what I'm excited about today around video streaming and podcasts is that my iPhone, which I upgraded from an iPhone 8 to an iPhone 14. I feel so like with the times right now.
so
Because when I
cool.
got
Like
that phone,
you are the cool
I
guy.
am
That's
cool. I am so cool. Yeah, thank you. Um, but I got this phone because my other phone just stopped. It was being frustrating. Like, my apps weren't working, my battery was dying. I was like, so I got the life out of it, right? But
of
the
course.
coolest thing about the 14 when you upgrade your computer is that you can actually wirelessly use your phone as the webcam. So right now I am doing that and it's fantastic. Less
That's amazing.
wires. I actually love it. And it's a good camera. So
Yeah. It's a great camera. I thought you were actually using like a camera, like
nope, this
a
is my
camera.
phone. So anybody needs tips on how to do that, I've figured it out. It did take a little bit of time. So I'll save you
Oh,
the
or should I
save
just
you the
ask you
extra
here over
time.
the chat?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah. Let's just run into it right now. All right. Well, thanks for sharing about your time in comedy. That is a very interesting thing. Not everybody has that opportunity, so it's always fun to hear about those unique jobs that people have.
no, I mean, and just in the industry, like going from that to working full time in property management now, Proptech. Proptech's a little easier, but property management, not everyone's really into the joke. So hey,
mm,
you win some, you lose some.
yeah. I guess you can't really always. You got to know your audience. You can't be
Yeah,
cracking jokes necessarily with a resident or a potential resident.
right. Uh-huh.
You got to
You
feel
got
them
that.
out. Yeah, you got to kind of like wade, real gently into that and see how they
Hmm.
respond, I guess.
Gently, that's a word for it. I'll add that to my repertoire. Gently,
Be
Steven.
gentle.
Gently.
Be gentle with your comedy. Not everybody's not here for it, you just don't know. I'm still learning that too. Dad
I mean,
jokes for
some people also just have zero sense of humor, which is fine also if you want to operate like that.
I mean, I think I'm funny sometimes, but my kids
Mhm.
and my wife, they completely roll their eyes most of the time. So, it is what it is.
I mean, dad jokes come with the territory.
100%. Yep.
Yeah, you do.
I think you already had them before becoming a dad. It just, it
Right.
automatically
Now you have an
rolls in.
excuse like this all the time.
Like an excuse and an audience that's not exactly excited about it, but
Right. A
it's
captive
fine.
audience. Oh my
It's
goodness. Like,
total captive audience.
Oh my God, where can I get one of those? Like,
They have no chance. Yeah, it's like, huh, easiest way, either adopt a pet or a kid, I guess, to have an audience for you.
oh, that's amazing. I had to ask people to come see, like, volunteer.
Voluntold, I
Captive
guess.
audience. Write it down. Captive
Yeah.
audience.
It's called your family. Yeah. So when you jumped over from property management to what you're doing now with DoorLoop, I mean, it's only been not even a year, right? It's been
Correct.
6 months, 8 months, something like that.
Yep, about maybe 3 months.
Oh, okay. Wow. So
Yeah.
I know from my experience jumping over into Proptech, there was a learning curve. There was a lot that
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is a new world. I was in multifamily and I figured, oh, that's translating completely over. No big deal. And then I realized, no, big deal. A lot I don't know.
Yes, right. Exactly. I think a huge learning curve for me was the tech part, and learning kind of all the back end stuff that goes into creating, not necessarily like very deep into creating the software, but more of
Mhm.
the back end stuff than you would see at the property level for sure.
Right.
And just all the technical components that goes into running a software company. Everything is online.
Yeah.
Like everything is online. So like without my
Right.
computer, I can't work, where that wouldn't be the case if I worked at a property.
Right.
Um, so it's from learning like different technical things, how to like plug in a DSLR, whatever, 123 camera into a Mac computer, to like learning how to use a Mac computer, because I'll admit I'm not too familiar with Mac computers until now because I
Yeah.
always use those. So it's a lot of you know, learning stuff, especially in the tech world. I'm learning from people who are younger than me mostly, so it's super interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And DoorLoop itself, like how old is it as a company?
I believe it's around 3 years old.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
And now it's a property management software, right?
It is, yes.
Okay. So like similar to whatever RealPage has or Yardi or
Mm,
Entrata,
but better,
like but it's
in
a
my
new
opinion.
but better, of course, right? Of course. You have to
In
say
my humble opinion.
that. No, but so what is it about DoorLoop that how'd you get first of all exposed to DoorLoop? And then secondly, like what is it about it that you actually do like?
Right. So I actually I found DoorLoop by accident, and it was a great
Okay.
accident. So I applied to their community manager position, which I thought was like a property manager. They got back to me. They're like, this has nothing to do with like being on site or anything like that. It's all like podcasts and doing that. I'm like, wow, that's exactly what I want to do. So it was just like a perfect match. So then I moved to Miami to join DoorLoop. But DoorLoop as a software, I've used a lot of different softwares. Yardi, Entrata, Yardi Breeze, um, Show Pro, Anyone Home, just like all the random ones, and then some smaller ones as well. DoorLoop by far has stuff that is just more intuitive than anything I've ever used. It's just
Hmm.
a lot of the software you have to remember where you click to get to certain menus. Whereas DoorLoop, it literally just tells you where to click, and even if you're a person like me who's not like great at accounting, it kind of just makes it super easy to
Hmm.
like read everything, and like without having to go to different drop down menus and hope to God you press on the right thing. Because if not, if you did something wrong, it's like impossible to go back, or you used to have to start over. So it's
Yeah.
just stuff like that that just make it so easy, where you can like go back and not lose where you were, and that make the job of managing a property so easy.
Well, that's sounds nice. I mean,
Yeah.
don't have a lot of experience with property management software. How about this? Zero, because I was never a property manager. But
Evan, what did you
I
do before this?
so before this, I actually worked um, on site and then ran an organization that was tied to that. That we did resident events and kind of community building and things like that. Um, just immediately before this, it was Apartment Life, is what it was called.
Mm,
Um, and we did, like I say, it was all about bringing neighbors together, building community, resident retention, relationship building, all the things. So again, I went from people centric to Proptech.
Right.
not the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's one of those things that and maybe this is similar for you, like I didn't realize it until I started my job, and then I was like, oh, okay, well, I have a lot to figure out, because this this yes serves the same industry, but not in the same way. So anyways.
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
But it's all good. It's all good. I've been here for 2 years. I'm, again, just, this show started early this year. It's been something I've loved doing and will continue doing, especially as long as people enjoy it. And it's just been a great way to build relationships with people in the industry, people I don't know. Like, it's a trust builder. It's like, I'm all about the person that I'm talking to. This isn't about me trying to sell them something. It's really about, I just want to get to know more people and showcase people and put them in the spotlight. So, yeah, that's
awesome.
That's literally it.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity that you're, giving people this kind of platform, if you will, just like to kind of get their feet wet and like develop their thought leadership and stuff like that before heading out to, like, I don't know, before speaking at a conference, like, years down the line or something. That's a great.
Well, and most people, they first of all don't even think about it, like doing something like this. And unless they're asked, they're not going to do this. So it's like, well, if you just say open call tryouts, but not even a tryout, like, you want to jump in, let's do this. Like, tell me what you're passionate about. Tell me what you're, good at. Tell me what you're, the boss of. So anyways,
right.
It's awesome. It's been fun. But so anything else you want to share kind of about your transition over from one to the other?
Yeah, I think kind of like what you said, and I wonder if you experienced the same thing, kind of like that learning curve from, you said you were like in community and now you're in Proptech. So what was that curve look like for you, or how did that feel like, or what did you learn?
Feeling a little lost. Well, just, it's all about like learning the language too, and just the landscape. I knew of companies in Proptech, like I've heard of RealPage, I've heard of Yardi, but that was like kind of it. And then I got exposure to the rest of the world and just what it means. Like, for instance, RealPage, they have one site and they have on-site, two different things, not the same thing. And like all these different layers to everything, APIs, integrations, the just list goes on and on. Just the things I did not really understand.
Yeah. Funny, before I realized on-site existed, I thought people were just mispronouncing one site. And I'm like, oh, that's a weird way to say one site.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. But there's, and the Proptech industry is only getting bigger, right? There's so many solutions out there. And on the one hand, it's exciting because there's a lot of things that are coming that are very helpful. But on the other hand, it's also daunting to property managers, I imagine.
Right.
And I know it is, that there's so many of them, yet they don't necessarily fully work together. Even if they're integrated, that doesn't necessarily mean it's like a slam dunk. These work seamlessly, push a button and it just takes care of itself. So that is hard. And it's, I think all the companies want to help solve that, because obviously you're not going to get business if it's hard to use your software. Right. So like,
I mean, look at one site. Just my opinion, not DoorLoop's. Just saying.
Yeah. So it is just a whole thing. Like, and we're actively working on integrations and stuff like that. But I feel like I'm pretty good at speaking the language of Proptech now, and I actually like intuitively understand it too. So, I've come a long ways. 2 years. Pretty
Yeah.
good, I think.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. It's funny because you even see like kind of like related fields, like people who work in real estate who are just realtors, they're kind of leaning more towards the tech side of things too, like working with Redfin and Zillow directly, stuff like that. So it's all headed in that direction for sure.
Yeah. But I guess moral of the story is don't be afraid to jump into the other parts of this industry. I
Mm,
would say look at multifamily as literally a family of like
yeah,
these things all work together. You have property management, yes, but then you have all the vendors that are trying to make
right.
property management even better and easier and like more efficient, whatever it is. There's so many
Yeah,
opportunities on that side. So like somebody might be burnt out. That's happening a lot, right? There's a whole other side of the business. Like
right.
you could be a customer
Exactly.
success person, you could be a marketing person, you could be a salesperson. Like there's all kinds of opportunities.
Totally. I think, and it's something I learned as I was like coming up is like I always thought it was just this linear path to working in property management, that it all had to be customer facing, if you will, like front desk, leasing agent, assistant manager, property manager, regional manager, and those were all the options, and it's not. So,
Right.
and you might think you want to work your way up to regional or something like that, but you might actually find yourself having more success on the vendor side of things, or in a related field like prop tech or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the thing I've been trying to like, I guess, get across is that whole idea is just there's way more out there in, people are just like, I just want to leave. I'm like, well, I mean, pump the brakes. Like, you don't have to leave. You have a whole bunch of knowledge about this industry that is applicable.
Exactly.
Especially like if you think about it, how much more applicable it is to go from property management to being like a customer success person, because you can relate so well to the people you would
Hmm.
be helping. So
Right.
anyways, that's
Yeah.
my
No, totally.
soapbox.
Especially if you're going into a different aspect of the field from a property manager position, there's a huge demand for you. If
Mhm.
you find yourself, I guess I don't want to say struggling, but let's say you keep trying to get that regional manager role, you can like you might not go in through the front door, but you'll get in through a window. So go,
Yeah.
vendor
Yeah.
side, prop tech, something in that realm that you might find success in as well.
Right. Yep, that's for sure. So the next thing that I want to bring up that you have kind of a passion for is you say it because I'm gonna screw it up when I say it. I probably already
I mean, you
did.
said it perfectly fine in the
Did I
intro.
employee-preneurship?
Yeah, employee-prenuership. That's it. Yeah,
Okay. Did
it's
you come up
exactly
with
what it
that?
implies.
Is that do you need to trademark that?
Um, yeah, uh, I guess so. Consider that
I've
trademark.
never
Don't steal
I've never heard of that. So explain it to the masses. Like what do you mean by that?
Right. So employee-preneurship is the idea that us as employees, even though we are employed by our companies, operate as independent contractors, even though obviously for tax reasons we're not.
Right.
Why it's good to operate this way. In the past, we as in society, let's say our parents' generation, we were meant to look good for our company, so we stay with them for as long as possible, hopefully until they retire, presumably.
Super loyal.
Um, yeah, exactly. Though you can do that today, and people find
Yeah.
success doing that. Where an opportunity lies to make a lot more money is to consider yourself as the asset. You are the commodity you are selling back to the company. Versus if I'm good to the company, they will be good to me and pay me more. That's kind of like the older way of thinking. Now the focus has shifted more towards what is the commodity that I'm selling and how much is this worth. We've always known this, that employees obviously bring value to a company, but the focus is shifted more to that now. And what do you need to do as an individual to um, commodify what you're good at? And I don't want to say jump around, but move
Yeah.
accordingly to companies that view and individuals that view your vision as realistic.
Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, looking at, what do you want to do and what are you passionate about, what you really enjoy, and like setting your 5-year plan or whatever, 5-10 year plan, and being realistic about yourself, saying, okay, where I'm at, does it provide the ladder up that I
Right.
want to pursue? And do my
Right.
skills are they going to get used to the degree I want to use them where I am?
Exactly.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, but
Right.
to look at it through the lens of like, first assess your current situation, obviously. Like, if you really enjoy the place you're working and the people you
Right. Of
work with
course.
and the company itself, then it could very well be in that place.
Yeah.
But it may not be. Like, and what is it? How are you going to be best utilized? And like, and honestly, that could be better benefiting the company too, right?
Right.
If you're not fully using your gifting and stuff like that. So it's good to assess that for sure.
No, absolutely. It's the thing is, we've all heard, I guess, in the past 10 years in past 10 years in particular, as more and more millennials, Gen Z have entered the workforce and especially into corporate positions, and we've all heard it. Nobody wants to work anymore. Nobody wants to
Yeah.
work anymore. These people have always existed who don't want to work.
Yeah.
But and
Yeah.
however, the difference between how our parents' generation views work ethic to ours is very different. We know that, but how? No one's ever put a word on, because millennials do make a lot of money now. They're starting earning more and more money. So it's not that we're not working. We're operating differently in the workforce, and that's where employee-prenuership comes in. We're not
Mm,
operating like our parents did. It's selling ourselves as the commodity and being
right.
less concerned with looking good,
Mm,
so we can be for long term.
right.
So now we've just put a word on it. It's not lazy. It's people just grab words from clouds to throw at millennials. So the word employee-prenuership kind of encapsulates the new work style that we've adopted.
Yeah. I mean, legit, I've heard people that are older that have a mentality as like, your company's paying you, therefore you just do what they say. Like,
Right.
it's this like transactional, like they give you money, you shut your mouth and you just do what they ask you to do. And to a degree, there's a moderate amount of truth to that. But
Mhm.
but at the same time, like if you're in a job and you're
Not as cagey.
unable, yeah, if you're unable to be yourself and like showcase your full potential and your I guess your skills and things like that, then and you're trying to, and you're like trying to expose those gifts and like show them the gifts, and they're just like, nah, not interested, just do your job.
Right. Right. And that's a huge leadership failure,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. And just culturally, Gen Z millennials, they want people who are going to um, uplift them personally, professionally. Our
Yeah.
lives are intertwined with work because we're all working on our cell phones and laptops, unlike our parents' generation who left work and then left work. Um, so bosses who are holistically interested in the well-being of their employees and how their performance and how their well-being impacts their performance is crucial today.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
not wanting to work. It's just people needing to adapt a little bit to the new generation.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I've had to lead younger folks than myself. I'm an old millennial. I'm on the edge. I'm like at the very edge of the being kicked out of the millennial group, but I'm definitely a millennial, at least on the different charts that I look at, right? Um,
The
and
charts.
yeah, the age range or
Right.
whatever up until 1984 or whatever, and that's me. So
Right.
I'm like, all right, I'm a millennial, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
and I
Look at
as
you
I
in your
interact,
youth, Evan.
I'm so young. Well, and that's the thing, millennials are quote unquote aging, right? Like I'm approaching
Right.
40. So
Oh, I'm not aging. I'm just kidding.
but it's like this age group that is they don't work. It's like we have families and stuff now, like,
Mhm.
and we're buying stuff like houses, and it's like, obviously we're contributing to society. So like, come on.
Right. Yeah. So there's a huge disconnect there of
Yeah.
older people saying, us not wanting to work, which fine, people who don't want to work always existed. But yeah, there's a huge gap in there's a gap there in what's in reality what the older generations are perceiving. So
and I think to a degree, like 40-hour work weeks are interesting for some jobs because the efficiency of doing certain types of work has increased so much that like you'll get your job done and then you're like, now what? Like, like, it just doesn't take as long to do a lot of things. And so anyways, that's the whole other side of it, I think.
Exactly. I mean, that can be a good or bad thing. It depends. It's like if stuff is done faster, then the company can make more money faster and then employ more people to whatever,
Right. Right. Yep. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, that's a good coined phrase that I think some people might find interesting and use themselves. So, well, that was I really appreciate you being on today and to share your experiences, kind of what it's been like to jump from one thing to the next that are pretty different in some regards and then similar, obviously, but and how you've like taken those learnings with you. So in your current role, are you starting to kind of get a little bit more acclimated? Are you feeling a little bit more like, okay, I'm starting to get where I'm at now?
Yeah. So yeah, generally, yes.
Yeah. It takes a minute.
I'm excited to. I mean, what I love to do most is just like interview people, do my YouTube videos, and do my podcast with DoorLoop as well. The technical stuff I'm still working on. There's some stuff I'm still learning. So
for sure.
But yeah. And if I could just plug my Instagram real quick.
Go for it.
So if you want to know more about employee-prenuership and all things motivation and anything else I post, make sure to follow me at Office of Smart. Office of Smart is basically the house or umbrella that all of my things are under. So make sure to follow me there as well.
Cool. Yeah, no problem. All right. So when I end the show, I always ask 3 questions. We are as a company, we're called Community Boss. We help manage the physical aspects of a community through software. And me personally, I have a passion for building community. As I shared earlier, that was kind of what I did, right? So all about people and bringing them together. So I like to ask, for yourself, professionally or personally, how is it that you build community?
Oh, man. So many ways. When I wasn't living in California, I built community. I had a volleyball group that I just started on meetup.com. I had no idea how to play volleyball, but I wanted to play volleyball and had no friends at the time. So I was just like, hey, we're meeting here at this time. Just show up. I kind of built community jumping right just head first into something I want to do, something I want to create with a group of people online. I'm kind of still learning as I go, to be honest. Right now I'm trying to see how people are responding to content I put out since it's fairly new, and trying to latch onto something that I know will have longevity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, cool. And then as a company, we're based in Seattle, and we have a little bit of a coffee culture up here. So I must plug, we have our own coffee, everybody. Boss Blend. It is something we give out to our new customers. We give out we give a nice box of goodies to our customers. We got Boss Blend. We got a mug that says "Manage Like a Boss," which is cool. We even give out our Boss Bling, Boss necklace to our new bosses, and we have some stickers and other things to get people going with our software as well. But we really like to embrace. What's that?
Can I have a box of this? Like, you just walked right into that.
Well, I do TBD.
TBD. Or
Anyways,
Throwback Thursday, that too.
yeah. So, but my question, after getting into all that, is what is your favorite coffee drink?
Oh my God. Right now I'm really into McCafe. So, I
Okay.
just think their coffee is really good. Yeah, they have an actual coffee. I go to the grocery store and get the big tub of McCafe.
Uh-huh.
I'm not helping myself as I'm keep talking, just getting a deeper hole. Uh, it's good.
Everybody up
There.
here in Seattle just died. But anyways,
Yeah, I'm
continue.
sure. I'm sorry. I'll bury you in your Patagonia sweater.
That's a good point. Yes, Patagonia. I don't own anything Patagonia, just to be
I don't
clear.
believe you at all.
No, I'm warm enough in my I'm not a thin person, so I'm plenty warm not wearing Patagonia.
That's great.
And then final question. If you were to have somebody over for dinner, what would you make for them?
Oh my God. Is this an important person or just a
I mean, everybody you have over at your house is important, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll assume it's an important person. Okay. I would probably pasta based because you really can't screw up pasta unless you're a complete moron and don't know how to boil water. So something pasta, maybe a ravioli.
Okay.
I'll say spaghetti. No, spaghetti's messy. I'm spiraling now. Spaghetti. No, bow tie noodles. Just fork it, and then with a sauce and maybe salmon or something.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, and a
Delightful.
sprinkle of salt-based style of something.
Okay. Yeah. Sweet. Sign me
Yeah.
up.
And
We'll have
happy,
some salmon.
and then
and the salmon obviously came from up here in the Seattle area. So
yeah, it was wild caught, cage-free, gluten-free. I'll add the buzzword. It's there.
I hope it's gluten-free. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know where the wheat's adding.
Thank you.
Oh man. All right. Well, thanks for your answers. And thanks for everybody that was watching. Obviously today is the day before Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I hope you enjoy whatever dish that you make, turkey or otherwise, and spending time with your loved ones or your friendsgiving, whatever you're doing. Enjoy yourself. And till next week, it's been Boss Talks, episode 22 with Steven Toro. And thank you so much for being here. If you want to be a guest, reach out to me because, like we said earlier, this is a platform for everybody. And it truly is a place where you can share your passions, your leadership, and just the things that you maybe have on your mind that you want to share with other people. So thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next week.